friend of mine was visiting me from Detroit, and so we were sitting around and we were talking and drinking wine and commiserating about this terrible relationships we were both in, and so how were we going to resolve the issue? So I pulled out the magazine and said, they said if you chant these words, if you say these words, you can become happy and get anything you want. So my friend said, no, I think I'll just get a prayer cloth, buy a prayer cloth. And I go, but these words are right here and they're free, right? I think we ought to do this. The reason that I started to practice wasn't just this relationship. Because even though I had been on my own since I was about 17, my mother died, I had educated myself, I was a nurse, had a good career, had all these things, but there was a hole. You know, there was something that was just not fulfilling. And I was thinking, well, you know, if this is all there is, then I'll just check out. Meaning, I was going to kill myself. And I had a plan. But I decided to chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo before I checked out.
We'd meet together once a month, the 16 of us, and there was a young lady there. She said, she pulled out her Yazu beads, and she said, look everybody, look, 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 look. And so, you know, everybody says, oh, what is she doing now? What is she into now? But anyway, she was saying that she had just been introduced to this Buddhism. And she passed the beads around, telling everybody, be careful, they're so fragile. And so when the beads got to me, oh, I felt like I knew those beads, you know?
You know, she kept saying, you know, you can get anything you want by chanting for it. And so I had already determined right off the bat that I was going to marry her. So I started, I would chant like about an hour or two in the morning. And then I'd come home at lunchtime and I'd chant some more. I'd chant when I got off work. Then I'd go to a meeting. I'd get there early and chant some more. Then we'd have the 2-hour meeting. Back then it was 2 hours. And then usually have chant some more when the meeting was over. So I was doing so much time vocal, and I'd ask her and she'd say no. I'd practice some more and ask her again. She said no. And so after I really practiced, I looked at my cojones and I said, you got one more chance. I said, if she says no again, then you got to go, because you don't work. So when I asked her, and she said, okay, what'd you say?
My son back in 1972, and I was a very struggle, and I think everybody have a turning point in a lifetime, and that was my turning point. And I was practicing already, but but I didn't understand deep, about this. Philosophy. Then through my struggle, I chanting. It was very challenging to make it live each day. That was Then so through chanting my struggle time, and then I was chanting. Then through chanting, and then I read President Ikeda's guidance and Gosha Passenger. And then that time, everything his guidance come through to my life directly. I saw his, Then, so that time I realized I am Bodhisattva of the earth. Then when I realized that, first time I accepted my son's death. Before that, I don't know why it happened, things like that. So when I realized I'm the one, the Bodhisattva of the earth, everything what happened in a life makes sense. Everything makes sense. And then, so then same time, I realized, that my destiny is my mission. See? And then, so that's why my son really helped me to understand this philosophy.
Right after I started to practice, my sister was diagnosed with an enlarged heart, and she's a nurse also, but she was on disability. And so I was chanting, but not an awful lot, just chanting for her happiness and whatever. And not long after that, they took her off the heart medication. She was off disability, and she could go back to work. And she was able to work until she retired, and my sister's still alive, and she's 79.
My body was very, very heavy. And when I went to the doctor during that time, he said, your body is like a 65-year-old. And I didn't understand that, but he said that was like, my body was like heavy. And when I started chanting, it became lighter and lighter and lighter. And I always think of it as a plant. When you have a plant and there's no water for it to nourish the plant, it soon starts dying. And before you know it, it's dead. It droops over and it's dead. And that's the way I felt about my body, because I felt that I was slowly dying. And every daimoka I chanted, I felt better, lighter, and better and lighter. So I was always chanting, always chanting.
President Ikeda, what guidance is? First, take the driver license. What happened? Nobody drive. That time I no drive yet because I just alive, you know. Huh? Then Toshiko Haba said, Kazuko-san, you come from Japan right now, spirits wise. That's why you say that. So they were wow. But President Ikeda said, open my mouth, I gotta do it. Right? If I open my mouth, if I want to do action, don't mean anything, right? Then first of all, right away, I take a driver license, yeah? First I take driver license, I pick up the adults, everybody. And then we have a chapter meeting in Columbus, pick up Masako Chanda, you know, pick up going and come back, huh? And then adults was so cold, we stop by a truck stop. We have a breakfast. I drop her, come home. It's morning. Sun shines up. You know, like that kind of activity. But really, my mission is transportation. Right? Huh? My mission is Soka driver. We call Soka Ham. Because no man. Usually my nickname is Go Grandma. Go.
We would have shakubuku meetings 7 nights a week. If we went to a meeting and nobody was there, if there no guests, then we hit the streets. And we would do street shakubuku. And it was amazing.
I can't say enough about him, and I'm learning every day. He is truly, truly, truly my mentor. First time I met him was in 1979 on Tozan. My daughter and I went together. Pearl and I, to our great fortune, we were on the same floor with President Cater.
And in the same room.
In the same room. We could see him, and he could see everybody there. And my daughter said, my mother is here with me. Could I please take a picture of her with you and Mrs. Ikeda? And Mrs. Ikeda was on his right side. And so she ran to get me, and I ran to, maybe you could get the picture to show her. And I ran there, and I, bent down between the two of them, and she took the picture with our camera. Then we got up to leave, and he called us back. He said, take another one. Just in case that one didn't work, I guess he thought. But it did. He got a picture of me with he and Mrs. Ikeda. Look how special that was. Our very first Tozan to get, that's a true treasure.
To you, always you cue rhythm with the sensei, Yes, what sensei does now, sensei, then we got to rhythm with sensei. That's
a very good lesson is that sometimes when you think something's bad for you, it turns out that it's not. I had a couple experiences where, like trying to buy a vehicle, and the guy told me to come over Friday and get the vehicle, and I came over Friday with the money and everything, and he said, I sold it to somebody else. And then in the next 3 or 4 weeks, I saw the vehicle broke down on the side of the road in 3 different places. So, I mean, sometimes if you think, wow, you know, I prayed hard for this and everything, and it didn't turn out, there's a reason for it.
Yeah. You know, Buddhism always have a reason.
What is it? Seeking to the sensei. Don't lose the sensei. You know. And then also, you know, be glad to have a hardship. That's the time to, you know, we could grow. That's opportunity to grow and make it, you know, that's the time to, you know, change it to better.
On jobs, people say, I think I want to change job, you know, the grass is greener on the other side. Well, but it's usually not greener when you get over there, right? But unlike this practice, it always stays green. It gets greener and greener. So
I chanted a lot of Daimoku. It's not so much about hours and hours of Daimoku, but it's the resolve, you know, the determination to win, to have, to chant about your goals, to not be, to never be defeated, you know, and that failure doesn't always mean defeat. And these are things I tell myself every day, you know, still, because sometimes I think we forget.
Never give up, you know, and I would remember that at a crucial moment. Never give up. Just never be defeated. You may fail at something, but never be defeated. Always be victorious, you know. And this is what he has said over and over and over again. And even now, after all these years, I pick up something that he says. For example, he says, one genuinely committed individual, you have the force, the power of 1,000,000. If you are genuinely committed, then you can have the force and the power of 1,000,000. When you change, your environment changes. When the environment changes, the world changes. Now, isn't that powerful? I mean, that is so powerful. That is truly, truly powerful to me.